Hey everyone, and welcome back. It seems like every time we turn around, there's another headline that just leaves us shaking our heads. Just absolutely tragic stories that make you wonder how things could go so wrong.
It's true. And these cases really tap into something deep within us, like a need to try to understand not only what happened, but also like the why behind human behavior, especially when it takes such dark turns.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's start with a case that I think really shook people up. Jennifer and Brandon Sheffield, this couple from Mississippi, they were going through what seemed like a very amicable divorce. Everything seemed pretty peaceful, but it ended in just a devastating murder-suicide.
Yeah, and I think what's so striking about this case is how it challenges our assumptions about appearances,
Right.
right? Like on the surface, everything seemed peaceful. Both parties were emphasizing their commitment to co-parenting, but beneath that facade, there was clearly a much darker reality.
Yeah, and that contrast becomes even more chilling, I think, when you consider Jennifer's TikTok video that she posted just weeks before the tragedy. In this video, she's praising Brandon as a fantastic father and talking about how well they were handling the separation.
Yeah, that really highlights how social media can often present a very curated version of reality,
Yeah.
right? People tend to share the positive aspects of their lives while concealing the struggles and conflicts they may be facing. So it's a reminder that we can never truly know what's happening behind closed doors.
It's almost like a performance, isn't it?
Hmm.
And it makes you wonder, how many other seemingly perfect situations are actually masking much deeper turmoil.
Absolutely. And in this case, the performance was so convincing that even their close friends were completely blindsided by the violence. One friend even described Brandon as like the nicest guy you could ever meet.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that we often base our judgments of people on very limited interactions and outward appearances. And it's impossible to fully grasp the complexities of another person's inner world. And this case tragically demonstrates the potential consequences of those hidden depths.
It's also crucial to remember the impact such tragedies have on the children involved. In this case, one of the daughters was actually home during the murder-suicide, which just adds another layer of horror to an already heartbreaking situation.
Absolutely. The trauma of witnessing such an event is just unimaginable. And it really underscores the ripple effects of domestic violence extending far beyond the individuals who are directly involved.
Now, shifting gears to a case that unfolded in the heart of New York City, we have a seemingly mundane argument at a Harlem deli that escalated into a fatal stabbing.
Yeah, this one really hit home for a lot of people, I think, because it involves such an everyday scenario.
Yeah.
Just grabbing lunch. The victim, Ray Hodes, was a USPS worker just trying to get a sandwich. It's almost too much to bear thinking about his mail truck waiting outside. Just a stark symbol of the suddenness and the senselessness of his death.
And this case speaks to, I think, a growing concern about impulsive violence in our society,
Hmm.
where minor disagreements or perceived slights can trigger these disproportionate and deadly
And
reactions.
what's particularly alarming is that the assailant, in this case Jag Cruz, had a history of knife-related violence. She'd been arrested 5 times previously for incidents involving knives.
Yeah, that raises serious questions about societal safety and intervention strategies. How can we identify individuals who pose a threat and provide appropriate support or intervention before such tragedies occur? It's a complex issue with no easy answers.
From the bustling streets of New York, we moved to a chilling case in South Dakota. A woman was found decapitated in her apartment just a day after texting friends that her boyfriend was threatening her with a weapon.
And this case serves as a stark reminder of the red flags of domestic abuse and the critical importance of taking threats seriously. If you or someone you know is experiencing threats or violence, seeking help is paramount.
The details of this case are incredibly disturbing. Security footage captured the suspect, Craig Allen Nichols Jr., carrying trash bags out of the apartment. Later, the victim's head was found in one of those bags, along with bloody clothes and weapons.
The brutality of this crime is horrifying and unfortunately echoes other high-profile cases like the Taylor Shea business case, where a seemingly personal conflict escalated to a level of violence that's just difficult to comprehend. Yeah, it's a tragic pattern that we see repeated far too often. The seemingly contained situation that just spirals into this unimaginable violence.
And in this case, it appears that drug use may have played a role. Sources indicate that Craig was using drugs with friends the night of the murder.
Right. The link between substance abuse and violence is well documented. Drugs can impair judgment, they increase impulsivity, and exacerbate underlying mental health issues, leading to these really devastating consequences.
It's a sobering reminder that addiction is not just a personal struggle, but it can have these far-reaching impacts sometimes with fatal consequences.
Now let's shift gears to a case that has generated a lot of discussion and controversy online. The case of Ashley Trevino, the inmate Hopper, who has gained notoriety for her relationships with prisoners, many of whom have been convicted of violent crimes.
This is where things get really interesting and disturbing. Ashley openly boasts about her relationships with these inmates, even making light of their offenses and seemingly disregarding the concerns of those around her.
Yeah, this case really delves into the psychology of attraction to incarcerated individuals, a phenomenon that is often met with a lot of confusion and judgment.
And it's not just the relationships themselves that are raising eyebrows. Ashley's online behavior, particularly on TikTok, has drawn a lot of attention and criticism. She's been known to engage in highly inappropriate activities during her live streams, including sexual acts, while also discussing her partner's crimes in a very flippant manner.
Right, this exhibitionistic behavior, coupled with her apparent disregard for the gravity of her partner's offenses, raises serious concerns about her judgment and decision-making. It also highlights the potential dangers of online platforms that can amplify and reward such extreme behavior.
And let's not forget the impact this is having on her children. Ashley has multiple daughters, and there are widespread concerns about their well-being given their exposure to this lifestyle.
Yeah, this raises important questions about child welfare and the potential for exploitation or endangerment. It also sparks a broader discussion about the boundaries of personal choice and the potential consequences those choices can have on others, particularly vulnerable children.
From the controversial world of online notoriety, we move to a highly publicized legal battle in Hollywood, a case that has captivated the public's attention and divided opinions. Actors Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, who collaborated on the film It Ends With Us, are now locked in a legal dispute stemming from allegations of misconduct on set.
This case offers, I think, a glimpse into the complexities of navigating accusations in Hollywood, particularly when you have power dynamics, differing accounts of events, and the intense scrutiny of the public eye all involved.
Blake initially filed a complaint alleging sexual harassment, a hostile work environment, and a smear campaign orchestrated by Justin and his team. Her allegations painted a picture of a toxic environment where she felt unsafe and professionally undermined.
Yeah, these are serious accusations that, if true, highlight the ongoing challenges of addressing misconduct and ensuring a safe and respectful working environment in the entertainment industry.
However, Justin countered with a lawsuit of his own, denying Blake's accusations, presenting what he claimed were alternative text message screenshots to support his version of events, and accusing Blake of trying to sabotage the film and his reputation.
So this back and forth creates a situation where two conflicting narratives are presented, making it very challenging for the public to discern the truth. It highlights the importance of due process and cautious judgment when dealing with such complex and sensitive situations.
This case has ignited a firestorm on social media, with fans and the public fiercely debating the validity of the accusations and the motives of those involved. It's become a classic he said, she said scenario that has left many feeling unsure of who to believe.
Yeah, and this highlights the power and peril of social media in shaping public opinion.
Right.
It can amplify voices and bring attention to important issues, but it can also be a breeding ground for misinformation, speculation, and judgment without due process.
And to add fuel to the fire, there have even been whispers about potential digs at Justin in the Deadpool movie, which stars Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds.
It's important to approach such speculation with caution. Without concrete evidence, it's easy to fall into the trap of confirmation bias, interpreting information in a way that supports our pre-existing beliefs.
Now, stepping away from Hollywood and back into the realm of true crime, we need to address a horrific event that casts a shadow over the New Year's celebrations in New Orleans. A terror attack in the French Quarter left 14 people dead and dozens more injured.
Yeah, this act of violence is a chilling reminder of the vulnerability we all face, even in moments of joy and celebration. And it underscores the importance of vigilance and preparedness, but it also forces us to grapple with the difficult question of how to prevent such senseless acts in the future.
The details of the attack are truly terrifying. The assailant, a U.S. Army veteran named Shamsundin Jabbar, intentionally drove a truck into a crowd of people celebrating in the French Quarter.
The deliberate nature of the attack and the choice to target a large gathering of people suggest a clear intent to inflict maximum damage and terror.
And the level of planning involved is truly disturbing. Police found guns and 2 IEDs in the truck, plus 2 more IEDs planted in coolers nearby. The fact that he was wearing body armor indicates a premeditated and calculated attack.
Yeah, this level of preparation points to a level of determination and commitment to carrying out this attack, making it all the more difficult to comprehend and prevent such acts.
It's heartbreaking to hear the stories of the victims, many of whom were young people with their whole lives ahead of them. One mother shared the devastating story of her 18-year-old daughter, Nikira Cheyenne Dedao, who snuck out to celebrate New Year's and tragically lost her life in the attack.
The ripple effects of such a tragedy are profound. The loss of life, the physical and emotional injuries, and the lingering fear and trauma within the community are immeasurable.
And the sense of loss is palpable in the stories of other victims, like 18-year-old Kareem Badawi, who had just finished his first semester at the University of Alabama. His father had given him permission to celebrate New Year's in New Orleans with friends, never imagining this horrific outcome.
These stories serve as poignant reminders of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment with loved ones.
In the wake of the attack, the New Orleans community came together for a vigil to mourn the victims and offer support to one another.
These acts of collective mourning and remembrance are essential for healing and rebuilding. They demonstrate the power of community in the face of adversity and offer a glimmer of hope amidst the darkness.
Yeah, it's truly heartbreaking to see how quickly lives can be shattered by such senseless acts of violence.
It's a stark reminder of the challenges that we face as a society, from addressing these mental health issues and preventing domestic violence to tackling extremism and finding ways to foster a greater sense of security and resilience.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm struck by the recurring theme of hidden realities. We see it in the seemingly perfect couple whose divorce ends in tragedy, the casual encounter at a deli that turns deadly, and the carefully constructed online persona that masks a really disturbing truth. It's a reminder that there's often more beneath the surface than meets the eye.
Absolutely. And these cases really underscore the importance of critical thinking, empathy, and a willingness to look beyond the facades that people present. We need to be wary of forming judgments based on limited information and remember that every story has multiple layers and perspectives.
It's a call for us to be more aware, more discerning, and more compassionate in our interactions with others and in how we consume information.
And these cases also force us to confront some uncomfortable truths about societal issues. Violence addiction, the power of social media. They challenge us to think critically about how we address these issues and what we can do to create a safer, more just, and more understanding world.
It's a lot to process, and it leaves us with many questions to ponder. What resonated with you most from these cases? What will you carry forward from this deep dive?
Remember, it's often in the quiet moments of reflection that we gain the most valuable insights. Take the time to consider what you've learned and how it might shape your understanding of the world around you.
Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of some of the most compelling and thought-provoking stories of our time. We hope this deep dive has encouraged you to look deeper, question your assumptions, and engage with the world with a renewed sense of curiosity and compassion.
And as always, we encourage you to continue the conversation. Share your thoughts, your questions, your own observations. Let's learn from each other and work together to create a more informed and engaged society.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay connected. Thanks for listening.